Hi friends. So let us start with the session 2, which is covering literals and operators. So in the earlier session, we have seen some sort of the variables and assignment of the variables. Literals are also nothing but a sort of the assignment where I can assign some Boolean type of the values or else numeric kind of the values or string kind of the values. All those things will be talking. And operators, especially the arithmetic and logical, relational, like that will be having some sort of the operators. So with the kind of examples, okay, where you can perform the usage of the operators, and I'll walk through which are all the things we have seen in the earlier session, so that you can make use of the convention of easy following. Okay, right. Now have a look on this friends. In the earlier session, just we have started with printing and identification of the variables, whether this whatever the thing I am declaring, the phrase, whether it is identifier or not, all these things we have seen, and then assignment of the variables, and thereafter working with integers, float, and string type, assigning a single value to multiple variables, or else assigning multiple values to different variables. And if I am not having any variable, then it is simply giving the error. Okay, variable must be there. Coming to the operators, okay, so arithmetic operations. So if I want to perform some addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, all these kind of things, let us see the Python way of doing the things. Here, arithmetic operation, as we pretty know that first we need to assign the values a, b, 3, 4, and a value is 3, b value is 4. Just guys, either I can add 1, 2, 3, whatever the values I'm having. So a plus 1, just I'm getting the value, but make sure that this is not affecting the value a. As in the earlier session also, we have seen that until you assign explicitly, suppose if you want to affect this particular thing, what you need to do is just I want to create a new cell. Okay, place the cell in the current position, and you can create a new one. Like this, you need to do a equal to a plus 1. Then only it is going to affect. Now you see. So just to read it, and directly if I'm running, it generates error because it is not knowing about AB value. So run through A value, B value. Now if I'm running A plus 1, it remains same. Okay, whatever the value I'm having, it remains same. If I'm printing my A value, so just if you see A value, and it is giving 3 only. Okay, only this result it is giving the cell. And now, if I want to reflect that value into my variable a, just what I need to do is a equal to a plus 1. Explicitly, we should mention the assignment. Then only it is going to reflect. So just to see that, friends, in the logics also, while writing, this thing is quite important. Now, as I updated this value a, now if I'm printing a, it becomes 4, friends, actually. Initially 3, now it becomes 4 because we have assigned that. And a minus 1 value is the latest 4 value is there, 4 minus 1. But your a becomes 4 only. It is there is no effect as I have not assigned anything. And a into this is a quite natural thing, whatever the value of a and multiplication, and just a value remains same. A division is a float kind of thing. So just it is giving that value as a floating type. And then floor division kind of thing. There are different aspects. If you divide this b only with floating, just it is giving the floating value. This is the floor division, integer division only division. It is not giving the type as float. Hope you can you can follow this approach. Friends. If you need the outcome in the decimal or floating point kind of thing, just use the slash two. This is the floor division, double slash two. Okay. And this modulus, a percentage kind of thing, which is very important in the implementation of finding out of even or odd, or while implementing the reverse number, Okay, all those examples will be seen. So in these kind of aspects, you can observe these things. These are all operators. Just you can make use of these things. And one special thing is like this double star. If you are using star, we know that a multiplication. Just it is a power of this thing. Okay, as I said, commenting and four. Okay, like that it is computed. Okay, which is nothing but four square, like 4 cube, 4 power 4. If you want to perform, then use the double star. And relational operators, friends, here relational operators are used to identify the relation among the variables, maybe less than, greater than, double equal to, not equal to, whether two variables are equal or not, all those kind of the conventions. Now you see, one less than two. This is the Boolean type. Whether this particular statement is true, then only it is giving the a true value. Yes, of course, one less than two is a true value. Two greater than one, of course, it is also true, and two values are equal or not. If they are exactly equal, then only we are going to get the true value. And then this is the 2.0 not equal to 2.0. Actually, this is a false because these two values are equal. Likewise, you can perform the activity, friends. Okay, so like 2 less than 3, this is true. And one more thing is that here one represents true in Python, friends. Maybe in other programming languages also, a generic consideration is false is related to 0, true is related to 1. So in that respect, first this is evaluated. If you consider this thing, 2 less than 3, which is nothing but true. Okay. Now what we're doing, 1 also represents true. So what we are trying to do here, true equal to true. Just we are specifying that, then obviously finally we'll be getting the true value. A bit tricky, nothing else, bit tricky. And here also one equal to two. And basically this is false. False means zero. No? Okay, so just in this case, one equal to three, two. Actually, this is false. False means again representation of the zero, zero less than three, which is obviously true. Okay, so just these things over the period you can easily get these ideas, friends. Don't worry about that. Now ABC, we can individually assign the values. Now A becomes 21, B becomes 100, C becomes 0. Okay, now I can perform addition like A plus B. And moreover, this statement is equal to like this. So shorthand representation C equal to C plus A can be referred as this thing, right? Actually, can be referred as C plus equal to A. And moreover, C equal to just if I am referencing C minus B, C minus equal to B. Okay, this is a shorthand representation. Just you can make use of the convention. Like this statement, original meaning is C equal to C star A. Rather, I can write C star equal to A. Okay, likewise, here also C slash equal to A. The original meaning is C equal to C slash A. Otherwise, I can refer this thing as C slash equal to A. So likewise, you can perform all these shorthand representations while working with the operators. And logical operators, as friends, relational means what is the kind of relation, whether less than, greater than, equal to, not equal to, all these kind of the convention. But whereas the logical and logical or, all these things can be observed. Now you see, not operator is there, and is there, or is there. And first it is computing these two. And then if both are satisfied, then only it is going to return the true value. Okay, A is having 50. Of course, if I am dividing that, I may be getting the value at 0, and as well as this thing also. Both the things are satisfied, then only it is giving the true value. Not is nothing but opposite. So as just now we have seen, this entire statement is revealing the true value. If I am putting not in front of the true, it becomes the false value. Now observe here, friend. B1 I am mentioned as true, B2 I am mentioning as false. Then obviously true and false becomes false, because if I if I am applying the end operation, both the values should give the true value. Then only it gives the true. So it means both B1 and B2 should be true. Okay, then only I will be getting the outcome as true. Otherwise, if both are false, obviously it is giving false. If one is true, one is false, then also it becomes false. In this example, B2 is false, so that we end up our result with the false. R is different, friends. R, either B1 is true or else B2 is true. So in these kind of the cases, friends, you can get the true value. One is satisfied is enough. In some cases, maybe we can eligible to get the job in terms of experience or in terms of our skill. Okay, so experience sometimes gives the job, or else the skill set without any experience. If the candidate is having skill, then obviously he will be getting the job. And B1 is true, friends, actually. Now, what we are applying not operation is for the negation. Okay, then we are getting the false. Actually, B2 is false. Now we are not B2, which is giving the true value. Now, there are certain other operations, friends, actually. Strings are excellent, and string manipulations are very good in Python programming, like any other programming language. Just this time, I am taking a string as Python programming. As I said, either I can use the single quote or double quotes while managing these kind of the strings. Now, what I am doing here is I am checking whether the appropriate phrase is there in the string. Of course, Python is there in the string. It is giving true. So, in is use it to identify whether a particular data item is there in the corresponding variable. Now, and of course, friends, here if you see the capital P, and I'm here testing the small p, actually case sensitive. This data item is case sensitive. So small p, and along with all these YTH ON Python is not there in the string. So it is obviously giving the false notion. And not in the sense that actually it has given false actually. If I am placing not in front of the team, just it is giving the true value. If you observe the statement. Similarly, I can check with the numbers also. X1 10, Y1 10. X1 is Y1. That means if the both values are same, then only I can get the true value. And most importantly, friends, we are having a kind of the ID. As I said, now documentation, shift plus enter, shift plus tab. Obviously, we will be getting the documentation. So return the identity T of an object. Identity means what is the value, where it has stored, and it is having some sort of identification. So somewhere it will have stored in the memory, and how to identify that. Okay, because programming language should capture that value so that it is identifying. And most importantly, friends, if you are storing the value, same value in multiple variables, though they are multiple variables, but still, okay, as the x1 and y1 is having same value 10 as a storage, and if you observe the identity of those two variables, it is same. See here, this is the most important point you need to observe. In the interview perspective also, people may ask you. So the initial point of interviews. So just you can refer these kind of things, x1 and y1, as these two are containing the same value. So we can see the ID value of those two variables is same. Now x2 is 13, y2 is 15. Obviously both are different, and x2 is y2 false. ID of x2 is this one, and ID of y2 is another one. You can easily observe this thing, friends. In the earlier case, as these two are containing the same value, they end up with same ID. But in x2 and y2, we are having different values. They end up with different IDs. Okay. So type already we have seen. If I want to get the type of the data item, so just type of the object type, then I can use the type function. Now, one of the important thing is, friends, suppose you are working with some heavy data, and after working with the data, you don't want to place the data in the memory, or you don't want to waste your space, okay, with the corresponding variable, which is not useful. Then there is a construct called del, which is used to delete the corresponding variable from the memory. Now, if you are giving this del of x and if you are typing this x value, which is not available, as just now we have deleted that. And now here integer value 123, floating 1.23. And of course, friend, this is quite simple. If I am adding one integer and float, obviously I am getting the result as a float value. And if you see the first value type integer, second value type as float, and you result obviously generating the float value. You need not explicitly typecast this. Okay, that is the advantage of the Python. Obviously, it is automatically getting the corresponding value. Now, if you see here, n value, integer n value as 123, string n value as 456. Now, I cannot directly add these two. Many a times people confuse that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 will be added as a concatenation. Concatenation is a method which is purely available in the string type, but here this is the integer and this is the string type. Now, what should we do, friends? Just to observe both the types. In the integer value, we are getting the int type, string value str. Now, what I am doing here is this I am converting this 456, however the value, but variable of integer, but we are declaring that as a string type. Sometimes it happens. And so in that case, just what we need to do is just you can make use of the conversion. This is the typecasting actually. Okay, so sometimes I want to explicitly convert the type of the variable, so then I can cast this particular thing. strn actually string type, but I am converting that as the integer. Now it becomes the new str integer. Then I can add integer n is there with me, 123, and new str I am having the 456. Okay, now it becomes integer. Then it is easy to add the two same kind of the values. Now, new summation value, however, integer and true and print of true. So just these are all the Boolean kind of thing, true plus false. This is the typical understanding, friends. True, as I said, which is reference to one. Many people confuse at this moment because generally true plus false becomes false kind of thing. But logically, if you talk, true value is representation of one and false value representation of zero, so that we are getting one, zero plus one kind of thing. Now, one plus zero, actually talking. Okay, this is the representation. Similarly, false, 0, minus 1. Okay, so just I am getting the value 0 minus 1, obviously minus 1. Okay, true power false. Actually, this represents 1 power 0, and I need any number power 0 generally 1 as per mathematics. False less than 0, here 0 less than 1. Obviously, this is true. Not true becomes false. And false is 0 means actually, friends, this false is not in the zero representation, so it is simply giving us the false representation. So be cautious while using these kind of things. But very in the programming, very rarely we use until there is a kind of logical expressions and all. You should be cautious about that. Otherwise, don't worry. Just to remember that the true and as well as the false functions. And let me conclude the session with the key takeaways, which are all we have learned. Uh, in the session, okay, what we have seen is initially we started with the operators, okay, plus, minus, star, slash, and we have seen double slash. These kind of operators we have seen, and then double star also we have seen for the power function and all. Once this is over, just we talked about true and as well as the false notion. True is representation of the one, false is representation of the zero. That is one thing. And once that is over, just we are making use of the other things is uh, okay, not and or all these kind of the operations we have seen. And in the coming session, friends, just we'll be talking about further the next session. Okay, some of the aspects related to the Python, and we are equipped with identifiers and as well as the operators and all those things. Further programming. Okay, just we'll talk in the next session. Okay, see you in the next session. Thank you.